Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Tyler. If this is the first time you're watching this vlog, I really appreciate you watching because I had 0 subscribers in January, about January 1st, and now I have like 1,500, and I think that's pretty sweet. So thanks for checking this out. I have many other lessons. If you just go into my videos and watch them all, maybe you might learn a couple things, and maybe you'll be inspired to create your own music or learn a cool lick. I hope whatever you find you like. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 chord types that I think are extremely important for every guitar player to have and to be able to recall at will. And you probably already know about them, but maybe not in the capacity that I'm going to get into. The first chord I'm going to tell you about is a 4-part chord. And usually these are also synonymous with 7th chords, which would be root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th in many different varieties. The difference between a 7th chord and, say, like a bar chord is a 7th chord just has more notes, meaning more tonal elements, more character, if you want to say it like that. So this would be a bar chord. This would be a 7th chord. You might think it sounds a little more jazzy. I think I would agree with this tone, but you don't always have to use clean. I'm just using a clean tone to help you hear each note in the chord. Bar chord and 7th chord. And of course, with chords, we know there are always going to be inversions involved. So let's say we have our root position C major 7 chord. You can also play that up here. We're going to start here. We have a root position, and then we're going to take these same notes, but just stack them in a different way. So this would have the 3rd on top, E. Here is the 7th, B. Here's the root, C. And then here's the 5th, G. That sounds pretty nice. And then we have another inversion here. This one has the 7th on the B string. And then there's another inversion. Very nice. So those are 4-part chords. And of course, they don't just have to be a major 7 chord. You know, they can be a minor 7 or a dominant 7 or minor 7 flat 5, minor 9, 13, all different variations. They don't have to have a 7 after their name. They just have to have 4 distinct notes. And there can be repeated notes, and that would be technically 5 notes within the chord. There have to be 4 unique notes to make up a 4-part chord. Doesn't that make sense? The next type of chord is a triad, and you know I've talked about these a lot. I love triads. They're a great way to substitute chords for actual notes within solos, and a great way to comp over rhythm sections if you don't want to play big bar chords or whatever's written on the page there. So a triad is made up of 3 notes, the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. So unlike a 4-part chord, it lacks a 7th, which basically makes it a much more simpler chord. It's really what all chords are built off of. So as such, there's only such thing as major, minor, augmented, and diminished triads. So a major triad has a root, a major 3rd, and a perfect 5th. Minor triad has a root, minor 3rd, perfect 5th. Diminished triad has a root, minor 3rd, flat 5. And an augmented triad, can you guess? Root, major 3rd, sharp 5. These bad boys have inversions as well, as you would expect, and they occur on these 4 different string sets: EAD, ADG, DGB, GBE. I've done a bunch of different lessons on different ways to employ triads in your playing, but you can essentially take a song that you're really familiar with. I like to use Little Wing when I'm teaching people how to use triads effectively, and instead of playing the big bar chords, play triads. So with Little Wing, the progression is very recognizable, so you can really use your ear as you're learning these triads to plug them in. So we have an E minor, we would play a G major triad here, and then the chord progression goes to A minor, so we'll play an A minor triad. We're going back to E minor. We have a B minor, A minor, C major, and then we're going to go down to G. There's an F, and then we have a C, and then we have a D. So if that was confusing to you, I would definitely slow down the chords and learn your major and minor triads. That's all you need for this progression. And just see if you can keep time. Take a real slow tempo and just plug in these triads on a string set that you feel comfortable with. So as you can tell, triads are awesome and really expressive and can really help you out if you're like a solo guitar player or you play acoustic. Triads are an absolute must-have in your bag of tricks. The last chord I'm going to talk about today is a chord with the fifth on top. So this can be a bunch of different chords. I don't have any distortion on right now, but this is a power chord with a fifth on top. Still pretty heavy. Here's a regular D chord with an A on top. Use a fifth on the top of a chord if you want to make that chord sound richer and heavier and fuller. Here's a C chord, regular open position C chord with the G on top. Isn't that nice? You can kind of move that around too. This is actually a triad. And then you add the C and the open G to fill out those notes. So that's it, guys. 3 chord types that you should know about. I'm sure a lot of you already do. I have an audience of very talented and intelligent guitar players, so I'm really lucky for you guys to be watching my videos because you keep me on point. So let me know what you think about these chords, and obviously there's many more out there that I could get into. Maybe I will later. Why don't you throw some suggestions in the comments about what your favorite types of chords are. What's the weirdest chord you know? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.